Good day, everybody. It's your friendly neighborhood YouTuber back at it again. And guess what we got? If you guys been watching some of my videos, this was in my big comic book haul. And one thing I wanted to do today uh, is I wanted to take a look at these T2 comic books. Now, this is a three-part series. This, of course, came out in the 90s. That's when the Terminator movies came out. And one thing I want to do is I just want to kind of, if you're a big fan of Terminator or Terminator 2 in this case, I want to go through these comic books and see how accurate they are to the movie. Um, I think it'll be pretty exciting to do because you don't really see this too often, as far as, uh, not only comic book adaptations of movies, but especially you seldom see Terminator comic books and comic books that are based on the movies. And this is from Marvel Comics, believe it or not. So I want to go through these comic books. I hope you guys are interested in these comic books like I am. To see how to just go through the comic book and just see how accurate it is to the movie, and take a trip with me back to the 90s for a little nostalgia uh, ride right here. So let's see. As far as okay, so this is let's see. I'm gonna try to make this as quick as possible because this is my first time actually opening this and actually reading this. So there's John Connor in the future. That's when he was standing on top of a hill observing what was going on, or standing on top of a debris or building, and then the camera goes in for a close up and you can see the scar on his face. Okay, so there's John Connor. There's the story, Los Angeles to July 11th, 2029. And that's pretty much 3 billion lives ended, and that's Sarah Connor intro to the movie. Of course, it doesn't have the din it, if I'm doing that right, if I'm doing that correctly, the music, and then it has the Terminator's face in close up with the fire, and then boom, you know. But here is the Arnold. Here's him. I guess transporting or teleporting back into, or time traveling back into the past and or present day time at that time. Schwarzenegger, which is pretty bad. You think it's a comic book, you think it would be a little bit more accurate, but they just kind of put swirl lines right here to block off the nudity, which I found that kind of funny. There's him with the scene at the bar, going into the bar. Here's him naked. And here he is. I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle. And then the guy says, "You forgot to say please." Of course, it's not going to be like every scene in the movie where he's walking in nude and all the girls are like, "What?" Or people looking at him like, "What is going on?" And there's him battling the bad guys, throwing them through the window. That's pretty funny. You ain't getting nothing from me. Oh man, oh man. I don't remember that one. I don't remember that scene from the movie. Let's see. Okay, and here is and he didn't get on the motorcycle. That's the one scene. Hold on. So it's not really completely accurate because the guy, he's supposed to take the shotgun away from him, then take his shades and hop on a motorcycle and take off. So they don't have that scene in this comic book. So I'm gonna flick over to the next page, and this is when the T-1000. Am I correct on that one, or the bad guy who shows up? And hold on a minute. They're just advertising a video game right here. Back in the day. And there's Sarah Connor. Okay. And her Sarah Connor in a mental institution. And here's her, I guess. I don't remember that. Last Call Sugar. I don't remember that. Her breaking out. Is this when she's breaking out? I don't know. There's John Connor and his buddy on a motorcycle, and then they go to the ATM machine and rip off the ATM machine and get a bunch of money. Only I wish I can do that. I know that's illegal. I know I shouldn't be saying that on YouTube, but ain't nobody's watching it. Ain't nobody's watching anyways. This is YouTube. So even if I could do that, I wouldn't do that. No, no, no. Fingers crossed. Okay. There's her John Connor pulling out the wallets. Sarah Connor. There's police officer going to John Connor's house looking for John Connor. And then that's when Sarah Connor is being questioned by the psychiatrist, therapist, whatever you want to call him. And then, let's see, this is when they... I don't know what's going on here. What is this? Oh, okay, this is... But I still wonder. Okay, yeah, this is when they go through the arm. When they first show the Terminator's arm from the first movie. And there's the chip right there. And then, right here... let's see, he's in the mall looking for John Connor. And there's Terminator pulling up to the mall. And that's when they first meet. That's pretty hilarious. In the hallway, get down! I really liked in this movie how they made the bad guy, how they made the cop the bad guy in this movie. Because if you know anything about the '90s, especially in LA, cops were the bad guys back in the '90s in LA, and that's funny how they made the cop the bad guy in this movie. And then John Connor, of course, wearing the Public Enemy shirt. Of course, I don't think they have it on here. Otherwise, they would have to be paying for the advertising of Public Enemy. There is, let's see, him throwing him against through the wall. And then there's the big chase. That's a really, I mean, that chase with the motorcycle and the semi truck still holds up to this day. Still awesome scene in a movie. Let's see. Here's them doing some more advertising. Yeah, that's such an awesome scene. You know, those scenes you just don't forget about. You know what I mean? They're just kind of stuck in your memory forever. And every time you watch them, they just never get old. It's kind of like, when you watch The Matrix. When you don't watch it for a while, then you watch it again, you're like, wow, okay, I remember this is so cool. And it still holds up to this day. I mean, the fight scene in The Matrix Reloaded, one of the coolest fight scenes, in my opinion, to ever have been, on the big screen. It's such an awesome way that they did that fight scene. And then there's Sarah Connor showing pictures of the Terminator. And then she tries to escape. And then here we go. Listen carefully. You can't kill anybody anymore. Got it? Why? Whys? What do you mean, why? You just can't. Trust me on this. I love that scene. And he doesn't kill the security guard. He just shoots him in the leg, which I think was hilarious. There's Sarah Connor whacking that disgusting. I don't know, what do you call those guys that work in a mental institution? Orderlies? Is that the right word? And then flick over here, and then that's when the T-1000, I think it's the T-1000. If I'm wrong, correct me on that. It comes up out of the floor. That's such an amazing scene. It was such a groundbreaking scene at the time. Sarah Connor escaping, and then she's going to eventually run into the Terminator as the Terminator is getting out the elevator. Oh, wait, this is... She's still planning her escape, so she hasn't made it that far. Okay, so that was one of one. So we'll go over to part 2 of 3. So this is where she runs into the Terminator. Right here. Oh, here's the part where he shoots the security guard in the leg. You swore he'll live. And... man, that's a long scene. I don't remember those scenes being that long, but it takes up a lot of the comic book. And there she is. And then there she goes, runs into the Terminator, the same Terminator that tried to kill her back in 1984. But now he's a good guy because Arnold Schwarzenegger, he needs to be the good guy in this movie. That's just funny how, he was such a good bad guy and people loved him so much that they brought him back as the good guy in the following Terminator. And I think that's what made the movie so successful, was he went from playing the bad guy to being the good guy, all with the same character. People never really put much thought into that. Never really think about that. Never really think about the Terminator being a bad guy. They just know from Terminator 2, he's now the good guy. I don't think has that ever happened with a villain where they were, a bad guy in one movie, and then the next movie they were the good guy, they were the hero, you know what I mean? I'm trying to think, has that ever happened before? I know there's been movies where they were the good guy, then they turned bad and became the bad guy. And there's them escaping from the mental institution. Really, really cool scene. And there's the piece of metal. Here's one thing, towards the end, the way to kill the T-1000, I think it's the T-1000, the bad guy. I'll just say the bad guy from now on. The one way to kill the bad guy, right, was to put him in like in a hot, steaming, what do you call it? It's not lava, but it's like, it's supposed to melt metal, right? And that kind of killed him. It separated him, right? I mean, if you blew him apart and you separated all the pieces somehow, and you destroyed, the bad guy piece by piece, that would be an easy way to kill him, right? Like, what would have happened, at that scene where Arnold Schwarzenegger took the gun and shot off his arm, and then John Connor picked it up off the car, threw it, and then, the bad guy came over, and then the thing turned to liquid, and then went back into his foot. You know what I mean? What if that liquid metal didn't... what if you separated a piece of him? Would that have made him weaker? You know what I mean? I'm just thinking stupidly because I'm just thinking of it as real life, as a real life situation. Even though I know it's a movie, but if you were to separate him, if you were to cut him in half and take maybe half of his legs and then separated it and took it somewhere, would he still be as effective? Would he still be able to morph into something else? Maybe morph into a smaller person, because he no longer has his legs. You know what I mean? Or maybe I'm putting way too much thought into this. I'm just thinking, if ever, a machine like that comes back to the future, I think I would know how to kill him. Just blow him up, try to blow him up into little pieces and keep those pieces separated, and then take them, and then do something with them. Throw them in the water, throw them in the ocean, throw them in hot fire, and away with the liquid metal. Okay. And this is, where are they? Where are we at now? Oh, the chip. Um, yeah, that's when he. Where's this at? I'm kind of lost. What is this? They're trying to destroy the chip. Did I miss something here? Oh, you know what? I remember this. This was actually see, they're actually opening, they opened his head and they removed the chip. This was actually a deleted scene from Terminator. So this is not in the original Terminator. This is actually one of the deleted scenes. This is when they're working on him and they're taking out the bullets, and John Connor asks, "Hey, does it hurt when you get shot?" And he says, "No." So this is the scene right here where they remove the chip, and then the Terminator, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, he just kind of freezes up. He doesn't move, and they have the chip, and John Connor and his mother. Well, his mother, Sarah Connor, wants to destroy the chip, and John says, "No, don't destroy it. We need it." And then Sarah Connor says, "We're better off by ourselves." And good thing they didn't destroy the chip, because if they did, then they would have destroyed the Terminator and no movie, and then the bad guy would have eventually got to him and would have killed her and prevented the future. So they put the chip back into his head, and Schwarzenegger says, was there a problem? No problem, none whatsoever." John Connor said to Schwarzenegger. So that was actually cut out of the movie, but it's here in the comic book. I find that pretty interesting. And this right here, yeah, this is where he says, teaches him "Hasta la vista, baby." Let's see. I want to kind of scan through this a little bit quicker, because I don't. I want to try to keep this under 20 minutes. Hopefully, you guys are still watching and enjoying this little review. And this is the time where Sarah Connor goes to the family house and tries to kill him and prevent the Judgment Day. Well, not yet. This is when he gets the minigun, and then boom, that's when he teaches him high fives and all that good stuff. And there's no fate but what we make. And then we come over here. And then that's when Sarah Connor takes off, and that's when she goes and tries to kill the guy who, Michael Eric Dyson, who, I believe that's his name, who advances on, here's part 3, who advances, who takes the first chip from the first Terminator and the arm, and uses that technology to spring ahead, and spring ahead and create Skynet, which Skynet will eventually wipe out the human race, and that's why they're going to Cyberdyne Systems to blow it up. So, to prevent the future war from happening. And there's the Terminator laying out what this guy did, and he doesn't even know. Can you imagine that if somebody came back from the future, not only Terminator, but come back from the future and say to you, "Hey, this is what you did, this one singular moment, and you've killed, what, 6 billion people. You're responsible for 6 billion deaths." And he says, "Well, how could we have known?" And I mean, technology is a bitch. I honestly do believe that technology, or one day AI, will eventually take over. I think that's a good thing too. I think human beings, listen, if there's a race of machines that are smarter than us, better than us, that don't know hate, that don't know destruction, that actually want to prosper and create a better world and can actually survive, and flourish, as opposed to us human beings with this frail, shell that we're in. I think they have a better chance at, creating something uh, unimaginable. You know what I mean? And maybe one day, they might want to. Maybe human beings will be extinct by then, and the universe will be run by machines and androids and human like machines, and maybe they want to, know more about us and about our history, and so they try to bring human beings back to life, and maybe that's how we are recreated. Maybe we die off and we're extinct for thousands of years, and maybe machines, want to learn more about us and learn about what makes us human, so they can be more human. You know what I mean? I'm just thinking out loud here. I should write my own movie. Yes, I know. I should write a script on that. But I eventually do think it's going to come down to that eventually. So, and like I said, I think it's a good thing because human beings are, hateful creatures, destructive creatures, and if there's machines that can dispose of us, because really, what will machines need from us anyways? And if machines can create, like I said, a future that is hopefully better and treat this planet with some dignity, um, then I'm all for it. I'm all for the robotic apocalypse. So enough of my gibberish. Here's the T1000 melting. Then they throw the chip in there, and then there's Arnie giving the thumbs up, and then there's her crying. So looks like Arnold. He's not lowered in there. It looks like he jumps in there. He jumps in the lava. So there you go, guys. There's the end of that. We're already at the 22-minute mark. If you guys are still with me, I just want to say thank you for watching this with me and listening to me gibber on. Maybe you're in bed laying down on the way to sleep. Maybe I help put you to sleep. But there you go. Pretty comic accurate. Some of it, most of it, anyways. There were some scenes in here that were from the deleted movie, and they ended up in the comic book, which I find pretty interesting and pretty cool. So there you guys have it. I'm about to hit the 23-minute mark. Hopefully this video doesn't cut off as I'm recording this, because I only have so much data. But if you like this video, hit the like button, comment, subscribe. Thanks for, traveling back with me in time to review these awesome comic books. The T2 Terminator 2 Judgment Day comic books. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye!